To Bloemfontein in Free State to our reporter Palisa Moedi, who's covering the conference for us. A very good morning to Palisa. Can you give us the latest from there? When is the elective conference actually expected to get underway, if it does get underway?
Well, it should get underway, Alicia. That's what we are told. Everybody's here, or rather most of the people are here. We are at Ilanga Estate. It's just in the outskirts of Bloemfontein. This is where the 8th Free State Elective Provincial Conference is supposed to take place. It's delayed by about 2 hours. It was supposed to start at 9. We are told it will start at 11, but you know, anything can happen. It might even start later than that. We expect today to be a very, very long day. When the conference starts at 11, if it does start at 11, we'll hear a keynote address. That will be followed later by an address from an NEC member, Meno Mvula. And then after that, there'll be presentations of before those reports are presented, then the election of the, the PEC, the Provincial Executive Committee, will get underway. We expect fierce contestation right there. We don't know how long that will take. But eventually when that is done, there'll be presentations of 2 reports. That's the election strategy for next year's election, and also the Tumamina campaign strategy. So that's more or less what we're expecting today. But obviously, like I said, we are anticipating quite a long day today.
Palisa, tell us about those disgruntled ANC members that had petitioned for the conference not to go ahead today. What reasons were they giving for the conference not to go ahead today?
Well, the big issue here is that they feel that the provincial task team that was appointed to lead the province to this conference is factionalist. They feel that it does not represent everybody, and they feel that it's actually the same structure that, or rather the same individuals that belonged to the PEC that was disbanded by the High Court, the Free State High Court, in December last year. If we just backtrack, when the High Court made that ruling to disband the PEC, the reasons that were given were that the processes leading up to that conference were riddled with irregularities. The court maintained that, you know, the branch general meetings that were supposed to happen in some of the branches did not take place, and that also audit processes had not happened in some of the branches. Yesterday, that disgruntled group held a media briefing to speak about, you know, the way forward. Obviously, they're not happy that this conference is happening today, but basically they were just stating out that they are intending to continue with legal action. In fact, they mentioned that within next week, around about Tuesday or so, we should expect the court to sit and this matter to be threshed out once again in court. And if we go back to what happened last year in December, a similar conference was held. That was the one that was nullified by the High Court. And if this happens again, if the High Court once again, finds that this conference that is happening this weekend didn't happen, according to the processes that were stipulated, then we'll see again perhaps another nullification of this conference.
Absolutely.
Or maybe not. So we're just watching out to see what's going to happen.
That's exactly what I wanted to say, Palisa. I mean, what has the main body responded to those, those concerns that have been raised? Because we don't want to see ourselves in that very same position as you've just outlined, where, they're going back and forth to court to try and have the elective conference nullified.
Well, we've been speaking to the coordinator, of this PTT, Ndate William Bulwani, and about the conference, he's been adamant all along that it will go ahead. And on the issue of the PTT being factionalist, and that the disgruntled group not being happy with how it's constituted and how it's running things, and the members, the individuals on the structure, he said that they were appointed by the NEC, which is the highest decision-making structure of the ANC in between conference. So he said that whoever has got issues with the PTT or how it's running things must just go to Lituli House. So they've been adamant that they've done whatever was necessary. The audits, according to them, have been done, and branch general meetings that were left out, or, of the branches that the court had mentioned have been done. On Wednesday, or rather Thursday, of the 14 branches that that were still in question, they said that 7 had already, they were already in good standing. The BGMs had been done and the audits had been done, and that they were left with the other 7. Well, we don't have an update at this stage, but they've been confident that the NEC is on their side and they are a legitimate structure which is just carrying out instructions given to them by the NEC.
All right, and talk to us about those that have come forth with their names up, for election, Palisa.
Well, the names that are coming up for election, we are looking at the same names that we had in the previous PEC. Yeah. We're not really expecting much of a difference. So, but there might be surprises. We don't want to speculate too much. But I mean, from assessment on the ground, we're literally looking at the same people that were on the previous, and maybe just a few new faces here and there.
Yeah.
But we are basically looking at the same faces.
And in terms of factions, if you're seeing those very same faces, Palisa, how has the campaigning been leading up to today, of course?
When we speak about campaigning, when it comes to the position of the chairperson, we have a female that has come up to, say that she is available for the position of chairperson. That is Mayor Matabolet, who is currently the MEC for Sports, Arts and Culture. And her campaign, what can we call them?
Strategy.
Her campaign leader, let's say her campaign leader, her PR person, has been adamant that they're also not too happy about, the processes that have led up to today's conference. They feel that not everybody is participating. There's people that have been left out. This is obviously, this has to do with the branches that they feel perhaps, all the processes, the audits and the BGMs perhaps have not happened there. But, when we go back to what Ndate William Bulani said to us this week, he actually said that whether the 14 branches that were in question are included or not, they've met the 70% threshold. So this conference would go ahead with or without whatever branches were not audited or BGMs were not held. So, we are looking at quite an interesting day today. But what I can tell you is that from face value and, from observations through the week, we are not really expecting the opposition. When I'm talking about opposition, I'm talking about disgruntled members that are not too happy about this conference to be present today. We strongly suspect that somehow they won't be able to get here unless if they are outside of the venue, but inside we're really not expecting them. That is why they've actually opted, the court processes, but an expectation that perhaps that be a disruption. Very, very low, but like I said, anything is possible, literally anything is possible today.
All right, and Palisa, before I let you go, a very quick one. Have you seen anybody from the higher structures, from the senior positions there to make sure that everything goes according to plan today?
Well, I think I've only seen one person, and the NEC member, Memegi Soju. She's the only person from the higher structure that I've seen. But, like I've said, this is delayed. So perhaps they'll be here much, much later. By later, I'm not even sure what time. But it's a delayed program. Very few people have arrived. Its registration is also still continuing at this stage. That is also accompanied by sweeping of cars and scanning, Yes. We also have just arriving right now some of the PEC members, and that's who I saw just right now, but from the province. Oh, no, not even the PEC members, rather members of the provincial task team, the PTT.
Okay.
So that's it for now.
All right, Palisa, we'll let you get back to it. And of course, maybe later on, once registration has progressed, we'll check in with you and see how that conference is going. That is Palisa Moeti, live to us from Bloemfontein, where the ANC is having its provincial elective conference there. Well, top scholars from Brazil